Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. And in the last episode, we found out we were all alone, guys, here on this island. But we've made the best out of it. We built 2 secret projects, and it looks like we have spread across this island as much as we can. Though I think we probably could get one more colony over here, and maybe one over on this side. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. And maybe over here, too. Waste not, want not. But we do have some formers that need a new home. Gaia's Landing's about as terraformed as it's going to get. So let's send this former over to Garden of Paradise. And we got a new synth metal garrison. So here's what I'm going to do. We are going to expand our holdings onto another landmass. So I've got this foil right now doing some exploring. And anytime that our cities want to build a military unit, I think we're going to switch to a naval unit. Because we really need to expand. We also need to get some more colony pods. We got a lot to do. Now we've got land masses over here. Land masses over here, you can tell because of the elevation. And land masses over here. Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. This was the first one I noticed off camera. So we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to send our ships that direction. Or the ones that we build. This guy's just going to keep on exploring. I actually don't know whether if they can explore the sea pods. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Automate, and we've got a mind worm here. I really wish we could capture stacks. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be in the cards for us. Okie doke. Synth metal garrison will hold the line. Recycling tanks. Children's. Governor of Gaia's Landing builds former. Awesome. Oh, we've got some eco damage here, guys. That's not good. Now, eco damage is what happens when we're producing too many minerals, like planet starts getting damaged, which is pretty much the last thing that I figure Gaia's stepdaughters would want. So let's get rid of that. Can we put this any other square where it could do some good? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Tell you what, let's go ahead and put it here in the forest. We still got some good minerals, but we also got a little food and a little energy there. And let's go ahead and start getting some colony. We can also do sea colony pods as well. You know what? Let's build a sea colony pod. We'll work on the rest a little bit later. Now I also have Veil of Winds building a laser squad. I don't know what good that would do. Let's have you work on a colony pod. And then you'll be down to like 1, but it's okay. Command center. Yeah, seems pretty good. And these mine worms will defend the Garden of Paradise in the meantime. And this former... Actually, let's go ahead and send this former to Veil of Winds. And we can start getting all of our settlements nice and terraformed. And in terms of our... man, this mine worm is not in a good way. Let's send it back to base, and yes, they can. We've recovered a resupply pod from the Unity. It contains manufacturing supplies worth 50 energy credits. Excellent. Well then, I guess we shall go ahead and explore some more. Gives us a chance to see if there's any good resources that we can use to build our first sea colony. And you hang out. Mine worms hold. Need to send some of these mine worms elsewhere, I'm thinking.
Production complete.
Sea fungus slows the movement of surface ships. I know, I'm just kind of exploring. Now, I'm actually kind of terrified that a Isle of the Deep is going to swallow up this pod. That has been known to happen.
Production complete.
So what we really need to build is... Oh, Velvet Grass Point wants to build a laser squad. Let's go ahead and change that and make a laser skim ship. That way they can actually fight back against the Isles once that goes down. And we got some nutrients right here. That's good. Hold. What else is being built? One of the things that you're going to be doing in this game, if you've never played it before, is the second that you hear, you know, building constructed or something like that, you'll want to look around and make sure what your governors are up to. Gaia's High Garden.
Turn complete.
Start getting that road built.
Production complete.
And the Gaia's Landing Former has arrived in the garden. Let's set new home base. Get to build in some more. And, oh. I like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. And we seem to be out in the middle of nowhere. This is going to be the location where we send the Sea Colony pod.
Pod recovered.
50 more credits.
Complete.
And why are you building scout patrols? Make a colony pod. That's like my punishment. How dare you be wasteful? And keep on going until we find mineral resource peters out near Gaia's Landing. Whoa!
The genetic code does not and cannot specify the nature and position of every capillary in the body or every neuron in the brain. What it can do is describe the underlying fractal pattern which creates them. Academician Prokhor Zakharov, Nonlinear Genetics.
So we can build a research hospital now, as well as nutrient restrictions lifted can produce 3+ nutrients a square. We lost a former though, which is not good. Let's activate these mine worms and send them to go try and take out their brethren. And now we're heading toward this land mass.
Recovered.
200 energy credits. Yoink. Uh-oh. I have Colonel Santiago of the Spartans on Channel 5. Shall I put her through? Our first neighbor, and it's the Spartans. Sure. Switch to main view screen. Welcome to planet, Lady Deidre. You bring many unique talents to our world. Permit me to reintroduce myself. I now style myself Santiago, Colonel of the Spartans, and on this world I plan to exercise freely the God-given right to keep and bear arms. Diplomatic status none, inactive, might wanting. So we get a little bit of our posturing here. Our might is actually unsurpassed, which is awesome. And we get some little flavor here, like Santiago's life before landing on planet, which I dig. And look at their swank digs. You may be interested to know that I've been in touch with our former colleague Yang, who lately has been styling himself chairman of the Hive. Yang has become quite obsessed with his social experiments, but we have had several fruitful conversations, and I believe he could provide you with information on industrial economics. If you like, I could provide you with his comlink frequency in exchange for a mere 150 credits. Sounds good. I don't know what business I'd have with the Hive, but we'll get it out of the way. Through cooperation, we can achieve mutual satisfaction of needs. Will you transmit your files on doctrine flexibility in exchange for my information on doctrine loyalty? Think how your environmental initiatives could be enhanced by proper use of such knowledge. That sounds completely reasonable.
Therefore, a wise prince will seek means by which his subjects will always, and in every possible condition of things, have need of his government. And then they will always be faithful to him. Niccolo Machiavelli, The Prince, Data Links.
And that gives us access to perimeter defense, city walls, essentially, the command nexus, and the police state, which I believe the Hive start out with, so they can get right to the business of doing what they do. Discovery... oh, nope, no police state for us, thanks. I believe your data on gene splicing could have important implications for my military preparations. I propose that you exchange this knowledge for my own files on nonlinear mathematics. Interested? No. As what I like to do, like, they're wanting me to give a third tier technology for a second tier. So I'm going to offer Secrets of the Human Brain instead for another second tier tech.
There are two kinds of scientific progress. The methodical experimentation and categorization which gradually extend the boundaries of knowledge, and the revolutionary leap of genius which redefines and transcends those boundaries. Acknowledging our debt to the former, we yearn, nonetheless, for the latter. Academician Prokhor Zakharov, address to the faculty.
And we have learned the particle impactor, which should give us some more nifty tech in terms of weapons. Your information on gene splicing intrigues me. Are you willing to exchange it for a copy of my world map? No, but I could divulge information on ethical calculus, teach you some democracy. I must caution you that my engineers have completed an advanced impact rover prototype. The first units are entering service now, rendering my forces practically invincible. Information on gene splicing could prove quite useful to my military preparation. Can you transmit it to me as a personal favor? No, not really. Lady Deidre, my survivalist followers are content to guard their homes in armed peace. I suggest we sign a treaty of friendship and stay out of each other's way. Fair enough, but I shall guard my borders carefully. Splendid. My military preparations and your environmental initiatives complement one another nicely. The Spartans and the Gaians have much to gain from this friendship. We shall commence trade and commerce at once. Our new treaty with the Spartans opens the door for trade and commerce, if that faction is human. That's like for the expansions. Each of our bases, if it is large enough, may now begin receiving bonus energy generated by trade. We can increase our commerce bonuses by signing more treaties with other human factions, by making pacts with other human factions, and by researching more economic and industrial tech. Alrighty. Have you any further business? I think we're done here.
Enemy project initiated.
Brother Lau of the Peacekeepers has authorized a secret project, the Command Nexus. And they have a little rover here. Let's look at Spartan territory. And that seems to be it. So they have all their cities clustered here. And looks like the Hive is next to them. Not the best of neighbors, I have to say. Now, the Hives, all of their bases start out with perimeter defense. So they are very well dug in, quite literally, because I think all of their bases are underground. I guess we need to go ahead and have a chat with the chairman. Ah, the beautiful Lady Deidre. I have heard many tales of your exploits. As to myself, I remain Chairman Young of the Hive. My intention is to found a society on the principles of security and control. Might also wanting. Through cooperation, we can achieve mutual satisfaction of needs. Will you transmit your files on nonlinear mathematics in exchange for my information on industrial economics? Think how your environmental initiatives could be enhanced by proper use of such knowledge. Sure.
Our first challenge is to create an entire economic infrastructure from top to bottom out of whole cloth. No gradual evolution from previous economic systems is possible because there is no previous economic system. Each interdependent piece must be materialized simultaneously and in perfect working order. Otherwise, the system will crash out before it ever gets off the ground. CEO Nwabuda K. Morgan, the Centauri Monopoly.
So that gives us access to the free market, which I believe is one of the things that Deidre dislikes the most. But we also get some increased commerce income from treaties and pacts. So, good stuff. And the ability to build an energy bank. And now you want gene splicing for high energy chemistry. So, I don't think so. I do have doctrine flexibility, though. A 2 for 2. I did not come here to discuss doctrine flexibility. To Do not presume to clutter our networks with useless garbage. Alright, that seemed well. So magnanimous. Recon rover prototype 212. Lady Deidre, I am concerned that you appear to be withholding scientific data in violation of the UN Charter for this mission. Please release your files on gene splicing to me at once. Uh-huh. And you will reciprocate with your own data on high-energy chemistry. Good enough for me.
At atrociously high energy states, the properties of matter change subtly and new miracles become possible. The plasma accretion process is now dangerous and difficult to control, but its products will soon become commonplace in our society. Sister Miriam Godwinson, the Lord works.
So now we have nerve gas pods to put on units and plasma steel armor, which should make some better defensive units. Lady Deidre, your ideas are admirable if a bit misguided, and your faction need not pose a threat to Hive policy. Shall we sign a treaty of friendship to formalize our symbiotic relationship? As you wish. The Hive seems a valuable friend. Splendid. My social experiments and your environmental initiatives complement one another nicely. How? The Hive and the Gaians have much to gain from this friendship. We shall commence trade and commerce at once. Lady Deidre, you must surely realize that democracy is a menace to right-thinking people everywhere. Common citizens cannot be allowed to question the decisions of their rulers. I urge you to impose strict police control at once. So he was magnanimous, but due to the fact that we operate a government that is directly the opposite of what he wants, he now goes from magnanimous to non-committal. So you'll never really get along well with the people that you're opposing. Have you any further business? Sure. Let's go research data for research data. Your information on doctrine flexibility intrigues me. Are you willing to exchange it for a copy of my world map? Sure, why not? And I don't think he has any other tech, so... Let's look at the Hive territory. Oh, bless their hearts. They are not in a good way. Actually, the Hive has a heck of an infrastructure. Look at this. They have 1, 2, 3, 4... They have 5 bases compared to the Spartans... 7 bases, but they have a lot more going for them. That's interesting. Guess we need to keep our eye on what's going on over here. In the meantime, we need to go ahead and grab all these pods before they do. So let's send our... Whoop! We saved some mind worms, that's good. And set home base. Veil of Winds gets built.
Enemy project initiated.
Zakharov is doing the command nexus now.
Production complete.
The governor of Gaia's Landing requests permission to commence network on an immense secret project, the command center. I don't think so, because that just gives a command center in each city, and everyone else is working on it, so tell the governor to work on something sensible.
Production complete.
Something sensible. Children, recycling tanks, perimeter defense for Gaia's Landing, colony pod, laser skim ship. Yeah, everyone's working on good stuff. I like it. Ooh, that means, yeah, the sea colony pod's good. We are going to send them right here. And we just finished that colony pod. This one is going to be done soon. Tell you what, let's go ahead and send this one up, and we'll still build bases here.
Initiated.
And now the Hive is building the command nexus.
Production complete.
Must be the only secret project available at the moment.
Production complete.
No.
Production complete.
Gaian engineers build their first naval vessel. The university already did that almost 100 years ago.
Production complete.
Whoops. Recreation commons. Our governors are being very reasonable. I'm okay with this. And get our mind worms at Gaia's Landing. Now we have our skim ship.
Pod recovered.
200 credits. And we've got another colony pod. Should we go... let me see. 1, 2. 1, 2. We could actually build another base right around here. Actually, exactly right there. And it's not going to interfere with anyone. So that's a bit of a trek for them, but I think it'll work. Now let's send this skim ship this direction. Because of its proximity to fertile land and other resources, this would be an excellent location to build a base. I think so too, game. Garden of the Deep. Garden of the Deep, founded in 2231. And just because we're gonna go ahead and hurry the garrison.
Production complete.
And hold the line.
Pod recovered.
We recovered a supply pod from the Unity. It contains a Unity rover in working condition. Oh, so we have a little bit of cargo. That's nice.
Production complete.
No, work on something sensible. No command nexus. I don't care that much. Perimeter defense. Yeah, we're getting nice and fortified here because we've got the gun nuts and the communists right next to each other. That goes oh so well. Also gives us some opportunity here with the skim ship to find some other locations for a colony, a sea colony at least. And the game's not saying this is a good place to build, but it looks pretty sound to me, so... the Chiron Preserve.
Request confirmation.
And hurry that up.
Recovered.
This is not a pod after all, but an alien artifact. We should take it to a base containing a network node for further study. Oh, that's interesting. Could we go ahead and build the command nexus then? Switching production in mid-course carries a 50% retooling penalty for all but the first 10 minerals. 16 minerals would be lost. Actually, I don't know if we have a...
Production complete.
Hold on. We've recovered a data pod from the Unity. It contains the comlink frequency for Miriam Godwin. Like, we're meeting all the people we're not particularly fond of. Lady Deidre, I presume. Sister Miriam of the Believers at your service. I am told you have built yourself a magnificent empire here on this rocky planet. Be aware that I plan to embrace the truth of the good Lord's scripture, and I will brook no interference in this matter. You may be interested to know that I've been in touch with our former colleague Zakharov, who lately has been styling himself provost of the university. Zakharov has become quite obsessed with his research, but we've had several fruitful conversations, and I believe he could provide you with information on intellectual integrity. If you like, I can provide you with his comlink frequency in exchange for 155 credits? Sure. Oh, their might is pathetic. Recon rover at 212. And we are holding scientific information. You want nonlinear mathematics, huh? Okay, I'll give that to you, but I'll require 25 credits to cover my expenses. Agreed. 25 credits it is, then. And he dipped into the offering plate. So, Lady Deidre, what do you have to say for yourself? Your so-called democracy is godless and wretched. Hey! Yes, it is. True freedom and happiness are only to be found in God's love, and I urge you to repent your sins and open your heart to the Lord. So, yeah, I forgot that they actually, if you're a democracy, if you're anything other than a fundamentalist government, Miriam hates you. I do have a proposal to... Actually, we can't exchange map data, I don't think. Research data... Comlink frequencies... Never mind. My apologies, lady, but I simply haven't all day to talk. Miriam out. Oh, we didn't even get a peace treaty from her. Okay, let's talk to, Sakharov. Ah, the beautiful Lady Deidre. I've heard many tales of your exploits. As to myself, I remain Provost Zakov of the university. My intention is to pursue pure research unfettered by outside motives and meddling. So, I hear you've been in touch with our old colleague Miriam. Just between us, I find her Bible-thumping minions a bit creepy. But so far we've been able to cooperate, and she has not tried to interfere in my affairs. Speaking of which, I have a nice map of believing territory which I'd be happy to exchange for your information on gene splicing. Their might is potent. I don't want to give the university any more tech, so I don't think that'll be necessary. Lady Deidre, I know I have been accused of conducting unethical research, but I think you will find that I am a man of reason. Let us exchange knowledge on a quid pro quo basis. I'll share my files on intellectual integrity, and you must in return fully disclose your data on gene splicing. Sure.
Man's unfailing capacity to believe what he prefers to be true, rather than what the evidence shows to be likely and possible, has always astounded me. We long for a caring universe which will save us from our childish mistakes. And in the face of mountains of evidence to the contrary, we will pin all our hopes on the slimmest of doubts. God has not been proven not to exist. Therefore, he must exist. Academician Prokhor Zakharov, for I have tasted the fruit.
I believe your data on high-energy chemistry could have important implications for my research. I can give you my own files on planetary networks instead. Are interested? Yes.
If our society seems more nihilistic than that of previous eras, perhaps this is simply a sign of our maturity as a sentient species. As our collective consciousness expands beyond a crucial point, we are at last ready to accept life's fundamental truth, that life's only purpose is life itself. Chairman Shen Jiyang, looking God in the eye.
So that gives us access to the planned economy, which we're not really wanting, but we also have access to probe teams. So sabotage can happen. And, oh wow, optical computers for industrial economics, okay.
We have reached an informational threshold which can only be crossed by harnessing the speed of light directly. The quickest computations require the fastest possible particles moving along the shortest paths. Since the capability now exists to take our information directly from photons traveling molecular distances, the final act of the information revolution will soon be upon us. Academician Prokhor Zakharov, for I have tasted the fruit.
That sounds awesome. My cartographers are attempting to compile a complete map of this planet. Will you exchange a copy of your own maps for my information on polymorphic software? Sure. Then you get to know about everyone else.
Technological advance is an inherently iterative process. One does not simply take sand from the beach and produce a data probe. We use crude tools to fashion better tools, and then our better tools to fashion more precise tools, and so on. Each minor refinement is a step in the process, and all of the steps must be taken. Chairman Shen Jiyang, looking God in the eye.
Increase probe team base morale and the heavy artillery. Stellar. And we are peaceful researchers, Lady Deidre. Will you sign a treaty of friendship and leave us to study in peace? Sure. Excellent. This treaty demonstrates the planet is large enough for both your environmental initiatives and for my research. It also opens the door for trade and commerce. Yes, indeed. And I think we are done here today, guys. I mean, we have met all but 2 of the factions. So we ran into 4. We went from none to 4 in one episode. How about that? And we got tons of formers working. We definitely seem to have the prettiest territory that we can see. And we also have our sea colony and tons of good stuff on the horizon. So we'll see what happens. If you guys liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.